All right, so tonight we are going to look at how to be healthy in the midst of a pandemic, because it seems at times that the only way to be healthy is by the means of protecting ourselves. And there is all kinds of ways of people trying to protect themselves from coronavirus. And, protecting, isolating ourselves, social distancing, the washing of hands and hygiene, which is important. All these things are important. I'm not diminishing them, but it seems like the rhetoric disempowers the individual, and it gives the idea that there is very little that the individual can do to protect himself or herself from the disease that is causing havoc in the world. And lately, of course, since the vaccinations came in the picture, then the vaccine is presented as the silver bullet, as that which will basically bring us back to normality, is the only way to defend ourselves. Otherwise, we have big chances of dying. Even healthy people can die. And if you listen to the news and you believe everything the news tells you, it becomes very scary, and the person feels disempowered. The person feels there's nothing I can do. And that is far from the truth, far from the truth. Doesn't matter what your position is regarding the vaccine, and we are not going to discuss the vaccine here. We respect whether you are pro or against. It's fine. But apart from that, we need to empower the person to feel that there are many things that the person can do to protect themselves and to withstand, what we are going through. And that is the purpose of the presentation tonight. The key to stay healthy in what we are experiencing is found in your immune system. It's found in your immune system. And I got this quote from an official website of the Library of a Health Emergency of the United States of America. It's called Elsevere Public Health Emergency Collection. And this statement was placed in an article regarding the immune system in relationship to COVID-19 before there was a vaccine that had been patented. And this is in 2020, April 2020. It says this: because there is no registered medicine or vaccine against COVID-19, notice what it says now, the immune system is the best defense because it supports the body's natural ability to defend against pathogens. And as an example, they list viruses, bacteria, fungi, protozoa, and worms, and resists infections. As long as the immune system is functioning normally, infections such as COVID-19 go unnoticed. Very, very interesting, because this is an official statement. This is not something that Pastor Sam concocted. This is an official statement. And so it is important to realize the power of our immune system. And if we have an immune system that is functioning normally, then even COVID-19 can go unnoticed. And that's why it's important for us to understand how our immune system works. And I'm going to show you a video now that in a few minutes gives us a brief look into the wonder of the immune system. The immune system is a marvelous of a system, of a mechanism that God created to keep us healthy. And I'll share the video.
Basics of the immune system. The immune system, one of the most complex parts of the human body. An intricate network of cells and molecules evolved over the course of hundreds of thousands of years to protect us from the dangers of the outside environment. So how does it work? First, detect the threat, summon help, and launch a counterattack. When a virus infiltrates a cell, for example a cell lining our airway, The cell detects this as foreign and produces cytokines, messenger proteins, to summon help via phagocytes, a type of white blood cell, and also help to contain the local spread of the virus from cell to cell, typically the role of interferons. Specialized white blood cells called phagocytes try to destroy the intruding virus by literally eating them up. These first responders show up within minutes and make up the innate immune system. It is fast to respond, but not precise, and it does its best to shut down an infection as soon as possible. The adaptive immune system is highly specialized, but much slower. Dendritic cells collect small fragments of the virus left over from the battles of the innate immune system and ferry these to our lymph nodes, where highly specialized white blood cells called T cells are waiting. T cells are pre-programmed soldiers, each one trained to target a specific invader. When a dendritic cell carrying a specific type of virus fragment shows up, the relevant T cell will divide many times to produce an army of clones. There are two main types of T cells. Cytotoxic T cells recognize and destroy infected cells that harbor the virus, and helper T cells boost the immune response by activating B cells to produce antibodies. Antibodies are specific proteins that block the structures that viruses use to latch onto and enter our cells. Antibodies also mop up the viruses that are floating around within our bodies. Although T cells and B cells can take several days to move into action, they are incredibly precise. And they remember. After the virus has been neutralized and the army stands down, most specific T cells and B cells die off, but a small fraction stay alert, patrolling the bloodstream and lymph nodes for repeat attacks. If the same virus attacks our cells again, these memory cells spring into action, activating the power of the adaptive immune system without the days-long startup. This memory is the basis of how a childhood infection or a vaccination can lead to lifelong protection.
Wonderful, isn't it? What an amazing way God created to protect us. That is the wonder of the immune system. It's a mystery, really. And it is an army within our body. And it is an army that has been designed carefully by God to protect us. And it is extremely adaptable. It is extremely intelligent. And it's part of who you are. It carries your DNA. It responds to your emotions. It responds to the environment. It's incredible. It's just an amazing system. And so the immune system is directly related to your lifestyle. The health of the immune system responds directly to the way you live your life. It is not possible to have a healthy immune system if you do not look after your health. And so that's why it's imperative to keep a healthy and balanced in all the different aspects that contribute to your health. When we talk about health, we talk about all that which makes up the individual, our physical, our social, our mental, our spiritual. And all these elements influence our immune system. So in order for us to have a strong immune system, we need to have a strong, balanced lifestyle. And it's very interesting because Seventh-day Adventists, we understand that the care of our health is a sacred duty. It's part of the way we worship God, to present to God a body that is as healthy as it is possible for us to present to Him. And our health, one of the great understanding of health that we as a people have is that our health is directly related to our obedience to divine laws that govern our being. In other words, health comes as a response of obedience, and disease comes as a response of the breaking of those great principles that God has given us to govern our being, to govern our health. And so if we want to have an immune system that is strong, that is powerful, we need to look after our health intelligently and carefully. As we learned last week, health is not the result of swallowing a pill. Health is not the result of a vaccine. Health is not the result of having some herbs or having some vitamins. Health is the result of cooperating with those great principles that God has given us for our well-being. And so the first thing we're going to look at, some of these principles tonight and how we can apply them so that we can, we can promote our own health. We need to eat and drink only that which promotes health. In regards to food, the best diet is a whole plant-based diet. There are countless of studies today. Some years ago, Adventists were the odd one out in talking about vegetarianism and living a healthy lifestyle. Today, we are part of a great plethora of voices that are saying exactly the same thing, that the best diet, the diet that is most conducive to health and well-being, is a whole plant-based diet. And when we mean whole, means that is as natural as possible, with little refinement or processing. And plant means that it comes from the vegetable kingdom. So we will eat very little or no animal products. We will eat as much as possible raw or with little processing. And we will drink plenty of water, and also fruit and vegetable juices that are raw, that have been squeezed by us, and also herbal teas. And you can choose herbal teas that excellent for immune system health. In regards to this, we need to avoid refined and chemical sweeteners. One of the greatest enemies of the immune system is white sugar. You know that 1 teaspoon of sugar depletes your immune system for 1 hour. And when you drink a soft drink, in some of them, there is 12 teaspoons of sugar. So you've wiped out your immune system basically for the whole day. And so we need to avoid having, soft drinks, tea, coffee, fried foods, processed and refined foods. We need to avoid them, not because it's crazy, but because it's healthy. You are protecting yourself, especially at a time of crisis in which we are living. Things are not looking as nice now as during the past year. There were hardly any cases. Now the cases are increasing. And COVID it seems to be all around us. So we need to approach this intelligently. Prepare yourself. What would you do if you are the king of a nation and you know that an army is coming to attack you? What would you do? You would prepare yourself. You would prepare yourself for battle. So we are to do. We are to be ready to confront any coronavirus that attacks us, so that our immune system will be able to withstand the attack. Second, we need to exercise and rest appropriately. We need to keep a balance. In everything, we must keep a balance. When you exercise, you got to be careful that you do not go to the extreme of being sedentary, or to the extreme of doing so much exercise that you damage and exhaust your system, and that depletes your immune system. Now studies show that athletes that run long marathons or triathlons tend to have the same diseases that people who are sedentary. And that's because God has made us to live a balanced life, and we need exercise. How much do we need? At least half an hour of exercise a day, but the optimum is between 1 to 2 hours of exercise a day. That will be equivalent to walking about 10 kilometers every day, 10,000 steps. That's the optimum. And we should exercise in the open air. We should exercise, in the sunshine. It's not optimum to spend hours exercising, in a gym where there is air conditioning and the light is artificial. The best form of exercise is that which is done in the open air. Any exercise is better than no exercise. But if you can exercise open air in the sunshine, you carry with your water bottle and you go for a wander, walking and looking at nature, hearing the birds, and that makes it a holistic type of exercise. And on the other side, we need to rest. We need to sleep at least 6 to 8 hours daily. People who do not sleep that, you can go to the internet and look at TED Talks on the importance of sleeping. And it's one of the sciences that is exploding today in how much knowledge there is now and how much science is saying that is so important for us to sleep. We are not to burn the midnight candle. When you do that, it has long-lasting consequences to your whole being, and it depletes your immune system. When you have a bad night, or you sleep little, or you do not sleep at all, then your immune system will be greatly weakened. And it is at those moments that then viruses and bacteria have greater access to you and to penetrate your cells. And so we need to sleep in a dark, cool room and also in a comfortable bed. And as I've said before, we need to avoid exhausting exercise that takes us beyond our limit is detrimental. Then also we need daily to expose ourselves and our household, our houses, homes to the sun. The sun is life. When you look at nature, nature thrives in the sun. If you take a plant and you hide it in a dark place, that plant will die, even if you give it water and nutrients. And human beings were created by God to live in the open air. We need to spend time in the sun. We need to expose our skin to the sun. We need to open our homes, move away the curtains and the blinds so that the sun come in. The sun destroys viruses. Viruses last a short time, and bacteria when exposed to fresh air and the sun. And so we need to expose ourselves at least half an hour daily to the sun. We need to have sun baths. If you have a balcony in your apartment and you can put yourself, just a bikini or a pair of shorts and something, and just put a mattress on the floor and have sun bath. Turn yourself like a roasting chook on the sun, because that is extremely healthy. And one of the things that the sun does is that it promotes the creation of a hormone and a vitamin called vitamin D, which is essential for immune system. This is one of the latest discoveries of how important is vitamin D for our immune system. It helps our body attack inflammation, and so it's very important. And when you take, when you expose yourself to the sun, you will participate. You will receive half an hour exposure to the sun, gives you 12,000 units of vitamin D. And you need to do it at the correct time, of the day. Between 10 and midday is the best time to expose yourself to the sun. Of course, you will avoid getting sunburned, but as you expose yourself to the sun, your skin is gonna get used to the sun, and it's gonna be more difficult to get sunburned. And so also, if you are working indoors most of the time, and in the mornings you cannot be in the sun, then you need to supplement your vitamin D with vitamins. You need to take vitamin D, and you take vitamin D also together with vitamin K2. Together they work so that vitamin D becomes a lot more absorbable and usable by the body. And the best thing would be for you to go to your doctor, have a blood test, and see your vitamin D levels. Often, the recommended levels of our vitamins in our blood are usually very low, as to be seen as normal. Take then the copy of the blood test and take it to a naturopath, and the naturopath will help you see in a more real way what are how your levels of your vitamins and minerals and all these things are. It's important to have our blood tested once a year, and take it to health professionals so that they will be able to see whether we are balanced or not. It's important. Now, we need to learn to breathe deeply and let fresh air come into our home. I'd like to show you a video of a scientist that is teaching people in this TED Talk the importance of breathing and how important it is to breathe, and he teaches them to breathe. And so rather than me doing it, I'm going to allow this man do it, and it's more fun.
When I go into a corporation, and believe me, if it didn't work, they'd say, we're going to do breathing work. It's going to make you feel better within 10 minutes. 10 minutes. So I have about 1 minute left. I'd like to try to teach you one very simple breathing exercise. Please sit up straight. Take your back off of the backrest. And if you can, put your hands on your side ribs. Make sure they're on your side ribs, not your hips. Ladies, think bra strap. Men, bra strap. About that high. Not the front, the sides. I know you're packed in close together. Now, when you inhale any way you like. Make your ribs go out to the sides. Fill your chest. So your ribs stretch out to the sides, not out front, out to the sides. Then exhale, sit taller. Again. Sit taller, exhale. Bigger, inhale, sit up and make your ribs grow out to the sides. Hold your breath. Exhale. Good. You can relax your arms, but keep imagining that your hands are there. And this is a very simple exercise. It's an old yoga exercise, and Dr. Andrew Weil is promoting it quite heavily now. It's fantastic. You can do it before you're going into a difficult situation or after. So it's called the 4-7-8 breath. You inhale for 4, you hold for 7, you exhale for 8. So we'll do one round now. We're going to go at this speed. So make sure you're sitting up off your backrest. You're going to inhale into your ribs, but to prepare, quickly exhale. Now, through your nose, inhale to the count of 4. 1, 2, deeper, 4, hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. More. Hold. 1, 2.
I just wanted to show you that little bit of him teaching a technique of breathing. Why should we learn to breathe? Don't we do it naturally? Yes, we do it naturally, but often we do it very shallow. Okay, so why do we need to learn to breathe? It's just simply because it is through oxygen that our system fights disease. Oxygen is extremely important, to fight disease. Many years ago, in the 1930s, it was discovered that cancer cells cannot exist in an oxygen-rich environment. And how is it that we get oxygen into bloodstream? It's by the way we breathe. And that's why it is important that we breathe properly, like doing a simple exercise like that man does, where you breathe in, you hold it for a period of time, and then you breathe it out slowly, and you do it like that for 30 times. And if you train yourself to actually breathe deeply all the time, your brain, your mind is going to become clearer. You're going to have color in your skin. Your blood circulation is going to be much better. You're going to have a lot more energy. And so breathing is absolutely important for our health, absolutely essential. It's one of the essentials. You only can stop breathing for a few minutes and then you are dead. You can stop drinking water for a number of days. You can stop eating for about 40 days. You can stop breathing only for a few minutes and then you're gone. So that's how important breathing is. The next element of having a lifestyle that empowers our immune system to work at its optimum is to have a happy and positive attitude to life. How important? to live. You know, as I said before, while we were waiting, science is discovering more and more how attitude affects our life. For example, it is believed that having a controlling attitude predisposes the person for pancreatic cancer. Having an anxious attitude can bring ulcers and can create, digestive disorders. It can give you even heart attacks. A fearful attitude is associated also with problems, to the renal system, our kidneys, and so on and on. There is a close integration and participation of our emotions with our organs. And our organs work by a system called sympathy. They are sympathetic to what you're feeling. What you're feeling affects your organs. And the way your organs are feeling affects your emotions. So if your digestive system is not working properly, you will have problems with your emotions. And so that's why it's important to maintain the health of the whole being, in our endeavors to be healthy, not only to concentrate in the physical, but also to concentrate on our emotions. We need to learn to surrender our anxiety, our fear, our anger, and our negative emotions to God. Do not allow the pressure that we feel by watching the news and what is happening in society with COVID-19. Do not let it create fear or anxiety in your life. They are discovering that people who are anxious about COVID are predisposed to get sick, and if they get sick, they are predisposed to death by having anxious thoughts regarding COVID and fear. Isn't that amazing? And so we need to learn to just pass our burdens to God. And if the news are making you anxious, turn them off. Go for a week without watching the news and see how you respond. You can be selective in what you read about the news. You can, rather than watching the news on the internet or on television, just select yourself what you want to read about the news, and the rest leave it aside. And you will see that within a few days, you will start feeling a lot more relaxed about your life and what's happening around. And so fear, anxiety, and anger and negative emotions you need to be afraid of them as much as you are of COVID. But no, we don't want fear. We want to learn to just rest in the Lord. It's God who takes care of us. It's God who's in charge of our health. Your heart beats. You know why your heart is beating? It's because God is sharing his life with you. You're breathing. You know why you're breathing? Because God is sharing his breath with you. You are alive because God directs your life. He is in charge of your life. Not a hair falls to the ground without God knowing that has happened. That's how much care God has towards you. So be not afraid. Trust in the Lord. We need also to have healthy relationships. Our relationships have a great impact in our immune system. When the studies show that a woman who goes through divorce, if they suffer cancer, within the next few years, they will suffer breast cancer, because the breast in a woman are the nurturing organs. And so when an important relationship breaks with their husband or their children, if they do not learn to rise above the feelings that are controlling them, then their body will suffer. And so we need to have healthy relationship, happy relationship. If your marriage has broken down, you need to forgive, you need to let go, you need to learn to love, and you need to let life do what it will do with the other person, and you need to let go, carry no bitterness, the opposite. These are the feelings that we need to cultivate in relationships: love, forgiveness, patience, mercy, kindness, tenderness, justice. All these are immune, empowering traits that must be cultivated. And bitterness, unforgiveness, hatred destroy your life and health as sure as a poison. And sadly, it's so natural often for us to respond in those ways. And finally, we need to develop our spiritual life. Let me say this, friends, we live in a society that diminishes the role of spirituality. We live in a society that is deeply materialistic, that is deeply self-centered, and it has destroyed, done away with the human need for God. And they have taken the cornerstone of human beings' existence. Man is empty and life is meaningless without the spiritual reality, without God. And we need to learn to trust in God. Did you know that faith, if everything fails, faith can still bring healing and restoration to a broken, sick body? The doctors may fail, the herbs may fail, the pills may fail, the vaccination may fail, but God can still bring healing. And I saw it today. I have every morning, every Sunday morning, a group study with a group in El Paso, in Mexico, in the border with Mexico in the United States. And one of them tells me, Pastor Sam, can we pray for my brother? He fell on Friday off a ladder and broke one of his legs, a couple of his ribs, and his spine is broken. Two of his vertebrae are broken in two. Two vertebrae broken, split. And so we prayed. Immediately we prayed and we asked the Lord, and at that moment, we didn't know that the doctors were taking him into to do more exams. And so we prayed, we asked the Lord to be merciful and to heal him. And then at the end of the program, the man says, oh, my brother wants to say some words. And so we let him tell us, and the doctors were amazed because the broken discs were actually healed, and the spine that in the first set of X-rays, the spine had been contracted. He fell from 3 meters, and he landed on his bottom. So the whole spine was contracted, and two discs were broken. The spine was normal, and the discs were completely well. And so the doctor said, no need for operation. The Lord worked the miracle in front of our own eyes. That's faith. And so we need to trust in God. We need to put our whole being in his hands and surrender and say, Lord, you do with me as you please. I will cooperate with you in everything in my hand, but my life is in your hand. Nothing can touch me unless it's by your care. And I thank you for that. So faith is like a life. Faith is a life and health-giving principle. It truly is. Let nothing take away your trust in God. Is absolutely foundational to have a relationship with God. All right. What else can you do for your immune system? You can take some supplements. This is not essential, but it's good. It's good to take supplements for an immune system. And the supplements you can take, you can buy a good quality multivitamins and minerals. The amounts there are reduced. They are not very big, but it's better than nothing. Or you can take them individually. You can take vitamin A, the recommended dose, or consult with a naturopath. Vitamin C, you can take 3 grams daily. That's 1,000 milligrams, in morning, evening, and afternoon. Vitamin D, 1,500 UI daily. Vitamin K2, the recommended dose, and zinc, double the recommended dose today. So with those 5 vitamins, actually support the health of the immune system. And it's good to have them at home and to have them daily. All right, let's keep going. In order also to support our immune system, we need to practice twice a year a detox program. And why? Why do we need to detox? It's very simple. As you live your life, your body is constantly being bombarded by different types of toxins. They come from the polluted air, the wrong food, digestive and cellular waste, polluted water, the manufactured drinks, chemical contacts, negative emotions. There's 1,000 ways by which toxins come into our system. And if we are not detoxing, if we are not helping the body to detox, what can happen is that these toxins can overwhelm the body. And often we get sick because our body cannot cope with the amount of toxicity that we have in our bloodstream and in our tissues. And so it is wise then for us to cooperate with our body in detoxing. The body is constantly detoxing, constantly. And the avenues of detoxification, we call them the organs of elimination, are first the skin. The skin is the greatest, the largest, the detoxification organ in your body. Then you have your liver, which is the largest the detoxification organ. The liver, one of the roles of the liver is to detoxify the blood. Then you have your excretory organs, which is, your digestive system, your colon, and your respiratory organs. Also, they detoxify you. You breathe in oxygen and you breathe out CO2, which is a toxin which is lethal for the body. Your urinary organs are also organs of detoxification. And then you have your mucous membranes that are also forms of detoxification that the body uses. And so when we do a detox, we cooperate and empower these organs to do their work at an optimum level. So we should detoxify twice a year. When? At the beginning of spring, end of winter, and then at the end of summer. We use those 2 times to detoxify. The one at the end of summer is a lot more pleasing than the one at the end of winter. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to open our elimination organs. That's the first thing we do, because while your elimination organs are clogged or they're not working properly, if you are constipated, for example, you cannot heal, you cannot detoxify. And the first thing is we need to activate our skin to do its work properly. And how do we do that? It's cheap. Sweat. Crack a sweat every day profusely, and you can do that through exercise or steam baths or sauna baths, and also in thermal waters. Do you know that every person should go to thermal waters at least once a year for a week? The healing powers of thermal waters, it's just fantastic. I had the opportunity to stop for 3 days or for 2 days at the beginning of, in June, at the thermal waters in North Queensland. And what they do to the body, you cannot accomplish it by, it's as if thermal waters put a boost in our healing processes. And so everyone should go to thermal waters at least once a year. In New South Wales, we have them in Moree. In that area, there's a number of thermal waters. Some of them are for free. You can go and come there and soak your skin in thermal waters for free for as long as you want. But also you can have that system at home by having a steam bath. And I'll show you that in a little while. You can activate the skin also by doing what is called the contrast baths, or using hot and cold, which you also use in steam baths. But that exchange of hot and cold, when you're having, for example, a shower, you turn the hot water on and you bath in the hot water, and then you turn it off and turn the cold water on, and then you do that for a few seconds, and then you turn the hot water off. That is extremely stimulating for the skin, and it creates a healthy skin. Also, rubbing the skin when you're in the shower, if you have something to rub the skin with very briskly, so that the skin goes red. under hot water or cold water, the skin goes red very quickly, and that brings blood to the surface of the skin, and it allows the skin to cleanse itself. Massage is very good also for the whole being, but also for the skin. And sun exposure is also excellent for the skin. And so in a good detoxifying program, there's going to be a lot of work done in the skin, because when the skin is working properly, the skin will relieve the excretory organs, will relieve the kidneys, and it will also relieve your liver of the work that they do. Second, we need to open our colon to work properly. And I spoke about this last week, so I'm not going to talk a lot about this, but we need to open it so that the colon is working properly, and I mean properly, going to the toilet at least once a day, but the ideal is 2 to 3 times a day. And I showed you what to do last week regarding the colon, but the colon is the center of health in the body. If you have a colon that is not working properly, you will have struggles to obtain good health. So we need to make sure that the colon that is working properly, that you are defecating properly. And one of the things you can do is to correct your toilet posture. You see that we were created so that when we defecate, we squat. But the problem is that because it's uncomfortable, what they created the toilet seat. But the toilet seat is dangerous, because if you look at the small picture that I've got on the right-hand side, you will see that when you are not squatting, but you are sitting to go to the toilet, there is a muscle that squeezes the rectum, and it does not allow the feces to go through. It's a lot more difficult to go to the toilet. So, but when you squat, that muscle relaxes, and it allows to go to the toilet a lot better. And so what they have done studies on this, and when you squat to go to the toilet, you defecate 1/3 more than what you would usually defecate. And so that's why it's so important to use a correct posture. At home, we have a stand very similar to that man, but made of wood, and we use it to go, to go to the toilet all the time. It's just second nature. And so it's important to squat when you go to the toilet to do number 2. Now, the next organ in a detox, the next organ we concentrate is the liver. Why? Because the liver is the gentleman of detoxification in the blood, in the body, and it needs to be working properly. And sadly, because of the abuse on our body through alcohol and coffee and tea and caffeinated drinks and sugar and all that, usually our liver is not working properly. And so what you do for liver cleanse, you fast, you water fast for the first 3 days. Then you raw juice fast for another 3 days. And then you eat simple raw fruit and vegetables for 21 days. And then also during these days, you will include what is called a liver flash drink. For 5 days, you do that. And I'll show you the recipe for that. It's actually in your handout, but the recipe is very simple. You include 250 ml of lemon or orange or grape juice, plus 250 ml of distilled water. You begin with 1 clove of garlic, and you will increase it to 5 over the 5 days. You will begin with 1 tablespoon of organic oil, virgin oil, and you will increase it to 5. You will have 1 small piece of fresh ginger root, about 1 inch long or 2.5 centimeters. And you will blend all the ingredients together until it is very smooth, and you will drink that for 5 days, 30 minutes before breakfast, for 5 days when you are doing your liver fast. And that is very powerful. It detoxes the liver very quickly. At the end of that, you will have a brand new liver. The next step in detoxifying our system is we need to pay attention to the urinary organs. And for this, we will drink distilled water for 21 days. And why distilled water? Because distilled water is empty. And distilled water, as it goes through your system, it will draw heavy metals, it will draw toxins, it will fill. And as it fills, it will detoxify. It will take away sand and accumulation in your kidneys. And so you will distill water. And then you will do a gallbladder flush. And also, you will need to have the following herbs, which are herbs for the kidney and the urinary tracts. It's nettles, uva ursi, and hydrangea root. You can find them in the health food shop. And during the 21 days that you're doing your liver and your gallbladder and you're doing the detoxification program, last 30 days, you will be drinking also during those 5 days or 3 days of 4 days when you do the gallbladder, you will also be drinking this. And to clean your gallbladder, which is the little sac that produces bile, and if we have a bad diet, it will fill up with stones. But if the stones are not very big and you do not have a stone blocking your bile duct, if you do the following flush, you will clean the gallbladder from any stones that may be forming. And this is a 4-day fast. You drink between 3 to 4 liters of raw, freshly squeezed organic apple juice daily. The organic apple juice will soften the stones so that it will become like jelly. You will drink 2 to 3 liters of distilled water daily. So there is a lot of water to drink, and that's one of the things that makes it difficult. You can reduce the amount of grape juice to 2 liters, and you can reduce the amount of water to 1 liter. But if you can do it all and you drink it little by little right through the day, you don't drink big gulps of water or juice, you drink it little by little right through the day. Every 5 minutes, you drink a little bit more and a little bit more and it becomes very easy to drink it that way. On the 3rd day, before going to bed, so you will drink the water and the juice. That's all you will drink. You will not eat anything. You will just drink juice and water for 3 days. On the end of the 3rd day, you will drink half a cup of pure cold pressed Australian olive oil. What does that do? It will cause the bile ducts to expand. And then you will drink 1/4 cup of lemon juice oil. And you go straight to bed and you lay on your right side for at least 5 hours. The next day, you will stay in bed and you will need to take it easy. You will continue drinking juice and distilled water for that morning. And sometime during the day, you will pass your kidney stones. And it's incredible. A friend of mine who was suffering reflux and very acid reflux, it was actually burning his trachea. I told him to do this and he did it. And on the 4th day, he passed stones like crazy, and he could see them when he went to the toilet. The stones went click, 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 click. And he passed them and the reflux stopped, and he did it 2 other times and he had a lot of stones. My brother, who's a naturopath, he gave a similar recipe to a woman who was going to be operated of her gallbladder, and they were going to extract it. And she did the treatment, and then she didn't need to have the gallbladder removed. She asked the doctors to do an X-ray, and the stones were completely gone. So she saved herself an operation. It's important for us to keep our organs working properly, and these are little things that you do. This you don't need to do it every year. You do it every 4 or 5 years. And if you have a healthy diet, then you may need to do it only once. All right. The 5th step in a detox program is to actually now detoxify your blood. And the blood is detoxified through sweating and the detoxification organs. But you will cooperate with that by submitting yourself to steam saunas so that you can sweat profusely, deep breathing, because as you breathe deep, your blood deposits all the CO2 that the cells expel onto your lungs, and you will also do fake coughing. What is fake coughing? You breathe deeply, and then you go, And that allows the bottom of your lungs to expel whatever is accumulated there because of shallow breathing. Hot and cold hydrotherapy. I'm going to show you a few videos in a little while that explain these things. And the cold sheet treatment, and also you will use herbs like horsetail and red clover. These two herbs are specifically designed by God to purify the blood, because Mrs. White says that life is in the blood. In order for us to have perfect health, we need to have perfect circulation. And so we need to work on our blood so that our blood is clean, is not thick and sludgy, and that is functioning at its optimum. It's flowing freely everywhere in the body. And so it's will assist the blood on this by using hot and cold. There's nothing better in this world to create blood flow than hot and cold, what is called contrast therapy, and also steam baths. I'm going to show you now a video where we will be seeing one of these treatments. This is the wet sheet treatment. This is an amazing treatment. It's very simple, but it works wonder. It's called in naturopathic circles the blood washing pack, because it literally does that. So you put two blankets on the bottom of the bed, on top of your sheets, and then you put a wet sheet that is being dipped in icy water, and then you will wrap the person with that. You wrap the person, as the lady is showing here. You wrap the person like a mummy, making sure that every part of the body is in contact with the wet sheet. It's very cold, and at first the person they go like that, but it's so stimulating, and soon after the person is wrapped, the person will go to sleep. And so now the arms are wrapped around. If the person feels a little bit that they are like they feel desperate in this with the arms wrapped up, you can get the arms on the side of the wet sheet. But the more of the body that is exposed to this, the better. And it's better if the person that doing the treatment or having the treatment is naked, so that every part of the body is exposed to the cold water. Now the person is wrapped in the blankets, and with both blankets, what we want is that the body will react to the cold water, and it will endeavor to heat up the body, and that creates a form of fever, and that is fantastic for the immune system. One of these treatments we will do our children when they had fever, when they had the flu, we would give them one of these treatments. In the morning they will be well. We will give them to sleep wrapped up like that, and in the morning they would be well, they would be ready to get up. So, and they used to cry for it. They would say, "Dad, give us a wet wrap, please." And it's so refreshing, especially when a person is feverish. And it's very powerful because it forces the body to raise the temperature. That raising of the temperature creates a fever, and the fever creates an amount of white cells, and the immune system gets a massive boost. And what would you do is that you would put a hot water bottle at the feet, and you will then monitor the person, that the person is responding well, that they are not under stress. You will monitor them, that their body has been able to raise the temperature. If you see a person, you do not practice this on the elderly or babies, because they don't have the ability to raise the body's temperature. That person is very sick. If they are in the extreme of the ages, the elderly or the babies. But for the rest, this is fantastic. The person can be wrapped for an hour and a half, too, so they can sleep in the wrap. And when they wake up at night, and they themselves take it off, put it on the side of the bed, and cover themselves and keep sleeping. It causes sleep. Immediately the person goes to sleep. So it's fantastic. It's very good. All right, so that's one. The next one we use for cleansing the blood is the steam bath. And the steam bath is just, I love steam baths. At the moment, I'm making myself a steam bath, a box. Once it's finished, I was hoping that I was going to have it finished so I could show it to you working, but I haven't had the time to finish it. Steam baths are fantastic, or saunas are fantastic because they stimulate blood circulation. They stimulate and relax your nervous system. They stimulate white cell production. The steam bath rids body of toxic matter like nothing else. It's just incredible. It purifies the blood, stimulates sweating, encourages drinking water, relieves intestines, kidneys, and liver of their work, strengthens the heart, encourages deep breathing, stimulates intestines and kidneys. And the steam bath also work on the system of hot and cold. There's two types of steam bath. I'm going to show you in a video where a man shows the first type, which is the contrast type of steam bath, where you remain a few minutes in the steam bath until you're feeling very hot, and then you come out and you expose yourself to very cold water. So I'll show you the video now.
What is contrast therapy?
So contrast therapy, as we've spoken about in the past, you can do it in your shower. Really hot, really cold, don't injure yourself on the hot. That's a form of contrast. Contrast creates resilience. By creating resilience, you create the need for a deep sleep. So that's how all that works. But there's so many other benefits to hot and cold, and some of them relate to circulation. And so when you're in the real hot, your circulatory system expands. When you're in very cold, it constricts. And again, that sort of pumping action helps to keep a very healthy lymphatic system, which, by the way, is the epitome of your immune system, Tracy.
Okay, so you talk about the lymphatic system. Just wondering why you want to start with the hot, because you're warm and cozy in the sauna right now. Why the sauna first?
Well, the sauna first for a few reasons. So to establish that circulation, so pumping all the blood flow and nutrients to the periphery, before then getting into the cold where it actually then squeezes the lymphatic system and helps to drain everything that's been caught up in there, inflammation, dead cells, old expired immune cells. So the point is relax and then expunge. And that's the hot and then cold. I'll tell you something else I do when I'm in the contrast mode. I reach for some beet juice. And so this has a very powerful detoxifying effects, by the way, but it also improves nitric oxide in your blood. And nitric oxide is a very potent antioxidant that helps with that expansion aspect.
Now it's time for the cold part, Bryce. So this is the cold part of the contrast therapy. Are you really going to jump into an ice bath right now?
You're about to see it happen live right here on Cityline T. This is 4 degrees, maybe even 2 today. It's very windy, and here I go for the plunge. Take the plunge. So, it is literally freezing.
Oh, you are so brave. Oh my God, and so tiny in that little bath. Okay, how does it feel?
Other than very cold, I'll tell you something. If you have a medical condition like a heart problem, do not attempt this at home. What this is all about is that resilience. You can see that I'm not about to die. My brain is telling my body I'm okay. Under those situations and circumstances, and the more you build up this resilience by staying in this frigid cold water, keep in mind, I don't not feel cold. I feel very cold. But again, I'm telling my brain to relax, everything's okay. That actually helps to reset my vagus nerve, which is it's a very interesting nerve. It branches in throughout all of the different organs in your body, and it tells basically your brain to relax under the right situation. So by building this resilience and being able to relax under a very stressful physical situation, that's going to create the need for sleep. My sleep tonight is going to be incredible.
That type of he takes it to an extreme, which you would do if you are used to doing it. You do not begin that way, of course. You would begin by having your steam bath. The two ways of having a steam bath, one is the way he did it, in which you would go in, stay for 10 to 12 minutes. When you're feeling really hot, you come out, or you can have a cold shower, you can have a bucket with water with ice in it and a towel, and then you just rub your body with that towel front and back, and then you go back. As you develop, and I could do that because I've been doing steam baths since I was little, but when you do that, the body has an amazing reaction, like he was saying, and it eventually relaxes the body. It causes deep sleep, and it creates amazing blood circulation. Your toes will be tingling, your head will be tingling. You sometimes will feel a little bit dizzy because of the amount of blood circulation. The blood is flowing like an overflowing river through your veins. And so if you have cardiac problems, you would not take it to this extreme. You would have shorter times in the steam bath, and then you would begin with tepid water when you begin to do your rubs. The second way of having a steam bath is in which you would do it for sweating. The other one is for blood circulation. This one, the second method, is where you would stay 25 to 30 minutes in the steam bath, or as long as you can, and you would sweat and sweat and sweat. And that is the way most people do it. And then you would come out, you would have a cold shower, or you would dip yourself in really cold water. You would stay outside for 10, 15 minutes relaxing, and you can do it again. And you do it only twice. And you need to, in both occasions, you need to drink plenty of water. 1.5 liters of water to 2 liters of water you would need to drink, because you will lose a lot of water while you're doing this. All right, let's try to come to an end because time is finished. I was going to talk to you about juices, which are essential for this. It's 12:15, not 7:15. My time is gone. And so I will talk to you about juices next week. I have covered a fair bit of ground, and I think there will be some questions. Why do we do the steam baths? Why do we do the liver detox and the gallbladder detox and all that? Is because we want our organs to be working properly so that we can have a healthy immune system. The better your body is working, the more acute your immune system will be working to defend you from disease. And we need it. This time we need it. Okay, are there any questions?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
For steam and the hot and cold treatments, for people who suffer high blood pressure and low blood pressure, what risks or what should we look out for?
Yeah, there's no people who suffer low blood pressure. They may feel dizzy inside the bath. People who have high blood pressure, you would not have a steam bath when you had your blood pressure is high. You would monitor your blood pressure before you have the steam bath, and if the blood pressure is towards the normal, then you could have a steam bath, but you would not submit yourself to the extremes of remaining too long in the steam and then going straight on the other side to the cold. You need to adapt yourself. But what you will notice is that as the days go by and you do this, the steam bath will actually equalize your blood pressure.
Excellent. Thank you, Pastor.
Yeah, but you need to monitor it to make sure that, and you would not do it alone. You do it with someone with someone who will be monitoring you, someone who would be with you in the room.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, but it's,
you got a question in the chat from Honora.
Okay, thank you. It says, why lie on your right side when doing the gallstone flush? Because you will have the oil and the lemon juice, and you want it to stay as long as possible in contact and working in your gallbladder. If you stand up or if you go on the other side, the liquids will go to the other side. And so you want to stay on your side and allowing repose there. So if you go to sleep, you would go to sleep with a pillow on your back so that you do not go on your back. You want to stay on your right side for at least 5 hours.
Okay, thanks, Pastor Sam. The reason I'm asking is because at the moment I have a right frozen shoulder. So I haven't been sleeping on my right side. So I guess I'll have to wait before I can do that.
Okay, so you cannot sleep. If look, I had a frozen shoulder and I bought myself a PEMF machine, and look, my shoulder hardly hurts now. It's almost completely free. So if you can get your hands in a cheap PEMF machine, it will help you lots.
Okay, you'll have to inbox me. Thanks, thank you.
That's one of the technologies I'm going to talk to you about next week.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much.
No problems.
I have one
Yes?
question about the
Yep.
hot springs that we have in New South Wales and in different places
Yes.
in the world. Is it totally the natural water from the springs that you get to swim in, or because it looks like a swimming pool?
Yeah.
So
In Moree, in the city of Moree, there's a number of places. The one that is by the council, I think that they use part chlorinated water.
yeah,
If you
so
go to the ones in the motels, it looks like they are natural. But if you go to the ones that are free, you go to other places. Like one is called, for example, Barren Junction. It's a simple place. It's rural, but it's free. And there you get the real deal. It's real thermal waters.
yeah, okay, so we'll have to pick the right one. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And thermal waters are a gift of God. People who come from, in the case of Paul, from Russia and Europe, they know the benefits of thermal waters, and they will know because Paul, I guess that you growing up would have go to steam baths and all that. Did you grew up in Russia, Paul? No? I thought you did. You can speak up, brother.
I was born overseas in Iran.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. Well, when I go to Poland and parts of Europe, Germany, oh man, it's a real treat because they really know how to use all these hot and cold things and all that. It's very ancient knowledge that we do well to use it for ourselves. You can get a steam bath, a steam tent, very cheap in eBay. You'll pay about $120, $150, and you'll get a tent that comes with its steamer, with a little steam producer. Very easy to set up. You can put it up in your bathroom, then you dismantle it and put it away once you use it. Very cheap, very easy, and they are really good. They're very good, very simple to get. If you can get yourself a big bucket where you can put the water, if you don't have a bathtub, you can put a big bucket, you fill it up with cold water, as cold as you can. If you are brave enough, you put some ice in it. And when you come out of the steam bath, you dip yourself in it, come out, and then go back to the steam bath again. So another thing in regards to a steam bath, in the first method, the method for circulation, you do 10 to 12 minutes, you have a cold dip or a cold shower or a cold rub. Then you do 10 to 12 minutes again, and you do the same. You do that for 3 times beginning, and you can increase it to 5 or 6 times.
I think Denise has a question. She's got her hand raised.
Yes.
Hi, Pastor Sam. Hi, everybody. I actually just wanted to make a comment. And, the information that you're sharing is so important and so valuable. So thank you so much for that. I know of somebody last week that was doing some treatments on a COVID patient, and they were using the ozone therapy and also doing hot cold showers and just some physio on where the lungs are. But after the treatment, the person's oxygen went up each time by about 10 to 12 units. So it's really very valuable for COVID patients as well.
Yeah, it's very powerful.
So I just wanted to share how, just how valuable it is. And we've also done the gallbladder flush that you spoke of. And I can say you do feel like a new person afterwards. Your taste buds are reset. You don't crave sweet things. You do feel as good as new. So thank you again for your information.
Yeah, the gallbladder flush is magical. It's very good. Now, coming September, I need to do a whole detox. I've been lazy and I haven't done one for a while. I need to lose weight, and so I'm gonna do a proper detox this coming spring.
Pastor, for the detox one, the liver flush drink, why do we have to use the distilled water?
Again, the distilled water is always used because we do not always drink distilled water. We drink distilled water when we are doing a detox, because distilled water will draw with it toxins and heavy metals and will take stuff out of our cells. So the distilled water is very good to use when we are doing detox programs.
Thank you.
So Sam, is demineralized water equally as effective?
If it's empty water, yes, whether it's called demineralized or distilled, in order for them to take the minerals, they usually distill it.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
And Pastor Sam, excuse me, where do you get the distilled water?
Look, you can go and buy. You can buy in Woolies. The water, the brand water Puro.
Oh,
that's distilled water. It's basically, it has nothing in it, just water.
Right.
If you drink that water, normally you would add, to a glass of water, you would add a pinch of salt, good salt, so that you add minerals to it, so that it's not empty water.
Right.
But if you are using it for treatment, for detox, then you will just drink it empty, because it cooperates in the system of getting rid of toxins.
Thank you.
Well, I hope that this has been a blessing to you, and that now the challenge is to put it into practice, of course. If you would like to ask questions or anything of me, I'll put my phone number there so that you can call me if you want. Again, I tell you, I'm not a health professional, but I can guide you on the simple things on how to do, the steam baths or the cold wrap and those things. If for more complex health questions, I will refer you to someone else, because I do not put myself there as a health professional, because I don't have any titles to show. So thank you for being with us tonight. Let's pray and we'll finish. Father in heaven, tonight we thank you so much for being with us and for giving us simple things that we can do to remain healthy and strong in times of difficulty like we are living. I pray, Lord, that we will be wise, that we will cooperate with you, Lord, in obedience to the wonderful principles that you have given us to remain healthy, Father. And Lord, as we do our bit, I pray that you will do that which goes beyond our strength, and that you will keep us healthy, happy, and that you will keep us trusting in you, and that there will be no fear in our hearts, no anxiety, Father, for we have a mighty God who knows even how many hairs are in our head. Thank you, Lord, for your loving care. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen.